Hi, this is Meats. I've had some questions about my Octane Rendering workstation and requests to see what it's like to render in Octane. So these days I've got my setup almost perfect for me, super comfortable. Everything's where I want it. Everything's working together finally after all these years. And so some of the things that made that possible is 4K monitors nowadays. So my main workstation has a nice big 4K monitor so that I can have all my palettes up and accessible without having to hide and show different things. And then also I have the 30-inch monitor that is used for nothing but the render window. So I can see everything, not even actually 100%. This isn't a complete 4K window, and everything that I've been doing lately is at least 4K. So if I go up to 100%, you can see within my window right there, it doesn't completely 100% fit in there, but it allowed me to see, be able to scroll around. I'm just having one hand so that I can film right now, so I can't move it around. But basically, we have a nice big unobscured window that I can render from. So that's really, really super huge. And so as far as the Octane rendering goes, let me start a new frame right here. See, we'll switch over to this image right here. And it takes about 10 seconds or so to do all the calculations to start its rendering. And so I'm pushing this about as hard as it's going to get pushed. 4K rendering, we've got displacement, we have several layers of refraction, we have depth of field, we have geometry that is producing light, physical light itself that is bouncing around. So as you can see, when you first start rendering, remember this is 4K, when you first start rendering, you can see parts of it that aren't as finished as the rest. And so what happens, it gives you right away your whole full nice image. And again, this isn't just a quick, or it's not just a simple demo. This is an actual full, with all the bells and whistles. So if you look up here, we can see we have about 5.1 million polygons, etc., etc. This information right here gives you how much memory you're using, how many samples, all that kind of stuff. And so you can see as this goes, I think this takes about 6 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes to completely clear out. But remember, this is 4K. And 4K is, if we look over here really quick, we have some old posters that we printed through the Gnomon workshop. And these are printed at 4K. So everything I used to render, even for my highest render stuff, that's 4K. So you can see when it's printed, I don't know if I can't stretch far enough, but basically you're not going to get any pixels whatsoever. And that's a pretty good sized poster. So it's not a super simple image that we're rendering here, but you can see how quick it is. Okay, the other thing that I use, as this is rendering, I use this program called Nvidia Inspector. So what it does, it shows you all your video cards. These are my 3 Titan X's. You can see they run pretty dang hot. But there's 3 of them stacked right next to each other, and they only have 1 fan each, so it kind of gets you. But alright, so we can see that that's getting better and better and better. So as far as Octane goes, it's such a huge thing to be able to almost near instantaneously see your lighting and what is affected by your lights and everything, like all at once. You're not waiting for line by line how it used to be able to see it. So this is huge for me when I'm trying to render, of course, so I can right away see it. And right now, this, of course, is pushed up really to the high resolutions. Of course, when I'm rendering like 720p, it's near instantaneous. And also, when I don't have the glass in here, it also renders, even faster, of course. So let me go one more frame here, so we just see. I have one hand, so I kind of pre-computed some frames, or they're not pre-computed, but I positioned the camera, I should say. Alright, so as that's computing, I'll just kind of show you over here. This is my monitor for my Auroras cards, and you can see you can be playing test animations on this side, put up reference, and also you can see the Nvidia Inspector, the 2 cards, what it's doing right there. The Aorus cards, they are extremely amazing. They run about 15 degrees cooler and about 15% faster than the Titan X's for about $500 less. So those are huge. And then we have over here the monitor for my old 970s. So I always have that inspector running because you want to be able to see if your video cards are even doing anything, you know, what they're doing, how much memory they're using, etc. So we can look down here too. So here's the my main computer. I have the fans all set up, trying to get it as cool as possible. And you can kind of listen, if you listen for a second here, you can see how loud, or actually how quiet the whole thing is. I do have a ceiling fan on. Usually I have music playing, so I can't even barely hear it, but you can just hear it now. So I can hear the road outside just as much. Alright, so on our new 4K render over here, I'll make sure we're looking at this 1:1. So you can see how far along that is. So if you go zooming in close, you can see those dots in there as it goes. So you can see a part that it's already completed right here, and right above it, it is still working on that section. But what it's already done, that's 100% enough for me to be able to make a decision on the kind of render changes that I want to do. So I can say, okay, that light's hitting too hard, I'm going to pull that back down, etc. So let me go to the next one. Pull off to this image. So yeah, this is about 5 million polygons all said. I think it's around 1 million actual polygons, and then at render time it's subdivided, etc. So it looks nice and smooth without being really slow in your viewport. Alright, so this is started already. I wish I could scroll around this, but I can't quite yet. Alright, so let me just pull it back just a little bit here. So if I select this, you can kind of give you an idea of how easy this is to adjust. So I got my shell right here, and I could say, let's see what this thing looks like, the outer shell, what this looks like if it was 50% opaque instead of completely transparent. So I just adjusted the opaqueness of it. So right there, boom, already it started to go in there and start to fill in. So even within about 10 seconds, that gives me all the information that I want. So let's take this now and bring it all the way opaque. So we just wait a few seconds, boom, 100% opaque. We can just watch this fill in. So things that are opaque and they don't need to do all those calculations of light traveling through them and bouncing around, it's even faster with that. You can see we have a little bit of depth of field going on in the front, but it just doesn't even really phase the renderer. Alright, so I'm just gonna hide that. So I actually just took that front part and hit it. So boom, right there. It's already calculating what's inside. I'm gonna take this. This is another, we have, I have a light going on, the thing that makes the hovercraft actually hover. The yellow part is the part that makes it weightless, and the blue part is the part that gives it its thrust. But I'm going to take this down all the way to the bottom, turn that off. It'll start rendering even just a little bit faster because now it's not having all that light be produced from that geometry and bounce around in a physical way. So I'm just going to turn this back to another frame. So turn it to the front frame again. And we just wait just a few seconds, the same amount of time that we would have had to wait you know, for the whole thing to even barely start up in the old days. So you can see, it starts out nice and pointillized. And if I did scale back, you may not even be able to notice. So there's our full image right there. That's the full 4K. So within a few seconds, we have everything that we need to know right there. The other thing that's cool about this too is the GPU rendering. You can go into like your After Effects or something like that, and I can sit and work with this, the same exact computer. I could work on my After Effects while this is 100% rendering with zero slowdown whatsoever. So it puts it all on your video card, and the Titan X's have 12 gigs each. So there's more than enough RAM to be able to do several things in here. So you have Photoshop open and all that kind of junk. Do Photoshop work, everything, and nothing actually slows down. So as I'm rendering, I have movies to watch on the side, reference images perhaps on the top, and images being rendered. Well, that's about it. Hopefully this gets you a little bit interested in the GPU rendering, which seems to really be taking over 3D these days. The number one best part about it is that it really doesn't take over your computer. In the old days, you used to press a button, hit render, go out for some coffee, and because your computer would basically be completely tied up by the rendering itself. So that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.